数还在不断增加。
发现外族！发现外族！
他们越来越近了。
好强的杀意！心存侥幸，明知道是禁忌黑。我看你是一心求死，还敢触犯人类！
世界树的生命层次接近
所有生命物质已经解析
我体内世界孕育的极限，
开始真正孕育。
Hello everyone, welcome to the Al-Razda channel. Here I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 28. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% similar to the Donghua version. Okay, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. After barely surviving the 9 remoteness whirlpool using the Seal Star, Luofeng landed in the strange territory of the Bloody Horned race. He was immediately hunted down but managed to slip away using the crazy speed of his Shiwu wings. While hiding in a cave to plot his escape, he accidentally triggered a massive manhunt. Now, an ambitious prince is personally spearheading the pursuit, determined to capture him. Anxious, Luofeng headed to Thunder Island in the virtual universe to meet his teacher, the primal Chaos City leader. He spilled the beans about the nasty ambush by King Bark Mirror, who was jealous of his treasures while he was out hunting for World Tree branches. His teacher was actually shocked and impressed that Luofeng managed to escape an immortal fighter who has the combat power of a venerable universe. Luofeng explained he had 3 true treasures, including a soul protector, which kept him alive against those deadly attacks. He was super relieved his teacher didn't pry into where those treasures came from, so the big secret about the Star Tower stayed safe. He admitted that, to keep his loot from falling into enemy hands, he took a leap of faith into a dangerous whirlpool, which dumped him into this strange world at the bottom of the 9 remoteness ocean. The primal Chaos City leader explained that this mysterious place is actually the home turf of the 9 remoteness master, a guy whose power rivals his own. This master is basically invincible within his own domain. Even the big shots at the ancestral god sect treat him with huge respect. Every powerful being in the 9 remoteness space, including the World Tree, bows down to him. Plus, he's known for being absolutely ruthless when it comes to executing intruders. Then, his teacher dropped a bombshell. The 9 remoteness master actually owes him a favor from back when they worked together. Luofeng was given permission to shout out his identity as Chaos's student as a final trump card if his life was on the line and there was no other way out. This favor could even get him a World Tree branch for free, but his teacher warned him not to waste such a valuable lifeline for nothing. Even though he now had protection from the most powerful guy in the area, Luofeng was determined to fight with everything he had using his own skills first. He really appreciated that his teacher was willing to cash in a favor from a universe master just to save him. With renewed spirit and a solid backup plan, Luofeng ended the virtual meeting to focus on the very real danger closing in on him. Hiding in the grass of this mysterious world, Luofeng thought about the terrifying power of the 9 remoteness master. Luofeng made the decision to enter the virtual world of glory to assess the situation, but was taken aback to find himself at the forefront of attention. Thousands of heirs from various races were staring at him with curiosity. The nasty looks from the Northern Territory Alliance members confirmed that news of his escape from King Bark Mirror had already spread across the virtual universe. In the middle of the crowd, Luofeng quickly met up with his buddies from the Hongmeng Alliance to give them the honest scoop about the trap in the 9 remoteness whirlpool. He revealed he was stuck in a massive, deadly world where his teleportation and God country transportation were totally useless. Even though the situation was critical, he swore he'd keep fighting to survive before logging off to deal with the real-life threat. The arrogant King Barkmere showed up in the World of Glory Plaza, acting all high and mighty about driving Luofeng into a death trap. He didn't hesitate to confirm to everyone that King Blade River had indeed jumped into the whirlpool to escape him. This guy from the Northern Territory Alliance even bragged that Luofeng was definitely going to die permanently and lose all his true treasures in that isolated world. 6 days later, a massive shockwave of Origin Law energy hit Bohinia Island, grabbing the attention of millions of heirs hoping to level up. A magnificent 5-colored vortex appeared right over King Zhenyan's palace, signaling, that he had fully mastered space law to become a top-tier fighter. This incredible transformation allowed him to absorb a massive amount of godly energy, officially changing his identity to Zhen Yan Venerable. Master Zhen Yan welcomed his friends with a big grin, celebrating his evolution into a universe venerable with genes 10 times stronger than before. But even with the party in full swing, he felt something was off. It didn't feel complete without his closest person there. He started getting anxious, wondering why his favorite student, Luofeng, hasn't shown up at all to say congrats on such a historic achievement. Master Zhen Yan was hugely respected by other universe venerables because he evolved from an invincible king through pure grit and hard work. While many fighters are born with high genetic levels, Zhen Yan had to hone his fighting techniques for millions of years just to survive against top-tier opponents. After officially leveling up, he kept good ties with Wu Tang Venerable, who loyally fed him important info about the outside world. The happy vibe in the palace instantly turned tense when Wu Tang Venerable broke the news about the suffering of his favorite student, Luofeng. Master Zhen Yan was absolutely furious when he found out Luofeng had been tricked by the cunning King Barkmirror and forced into the deadly 9 remoteness space. Without wasting a second, the teacher gathered detailed info on that dangerous region to save his student and teach his enemy a lesson they wouldn't forget. Gripping his legendary black rod, Master Zhen Yan reawakened the fighting instinct that had been dormant for hundreds of millions of years in primal Chaos City. He immediately teleported across thousands of light years to Rock Island, determined to crush King Barkmirror as soon as that deceitful lizard returned from hunting. With incredible patience, Master Zhen Yan sat meditating on a mountain peak, like a tiger waiting to pounce on prey that dared to disturb its peace. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the 9 remoteness ocean, the prince of the bloody horned race was losing his cool because he still hadn't found the intruder. He finally ordered a massive mobilization, deploying half of his entire military force to comb every corner of the world, coordinated through the virtual world. A mixed army of immortals and world masters began moving in sync, using a connected detection system to make sure the intruder had nowhere to hide. Despite using top-tier detection gear, Luofeng was eventually spotted by just a regular immortal soldier who sensed a disturbance in the energy. Turns out, the energy of the native troops in the 9 remoteness world blends perfectly with the environment, making any outside camouflage tech totally useless. Realizing his cover was blown and big trouble was coming, Luofeng had to speed up again to dodge the elite squad led personally by the prince. Luofeng realized the native soldiers were closing in fast after their detection system kept piercing his disguise. He pushed his Shi Wu wings to the limit to avoid the deadly trap set by the prince involving thousands of troops. Although he bumped into a few energy fighters who were hard to kill with soul attacks, Luofeng chose not to waste time fighting so he could keep a safe distance from the main encirclement. The elegant prince, flanked by 2 universe venerable level servants, watched Luofeng's moves with keen interest from above a mountain valley. They had set up a giant net across the prince's entire territory, ready to deploy 9 war generals to capture the intruder alive. The prince even planned to step in personally, feeling challenged by the incredible escape skills shown by this immortal level fighter. Facing an increasingly desperate situation, Luofeng released 9 of his immortal slaves, disguised as identical clones of himself, to act as decoys. In the middle of this tense escape plan, he was shocked by news from the world of glory about a massive battle involving his teacher on Rock Island. Luofeng immediately split his focus to find out what was happening to Master Zhen Yan, who was reportedly going on a rampage against the Northern Territory Alliance. Master Zhen Yan, fresh off his promotion to Universe Venerable, stormed Rock Island to avenge his student against the treacherous King Barkmirror. The fight was brutal. King Barkmirror nearly died before being saved at the last second by the powerful Feng Venerable. Even though his divine body took some serious damage, Master Zhen Yan managed to escape and return to Baohinia Island, feeling like a winner. Luofeng quickly met his teacher in the virtual dimension and found Master Zhen Yan celebrating the deadly battle with pure joy. Even though he lost more than half of his divine body from the attacks of Feng Venerable, the teacher looked incredibly satisfied and happy. Luofeng felt deeply touched but also curious about why his teacher was laughing in victory after surviving such a dangerous fight. Master Zhen Yan wasn't just celebrating survival, He was happy because his combat boots had evolved into a high-tier treasure after he became a universe venerable. Thanks to this evolution, he now possessed incredible speed that outstripped both King Bark Mirror and Feng Venerable. Even though his raw power was just average for his level, the combo of a strong divine body and that treasure made him a fearsome force on the battlefield. The secret to Master Zhen Yan's success was his meticulous preparation over hundreds of millions of years in Chaos City, specifically creating a rock-solid soul defense technique. He realized King Bark Mirror relied only on innate talent, without truly understanding laws or attack techniques suitable for top-tier fighters. With a soul defense 10 times stronger than before, Master Zhen Yan could withstand mental attacks and deliver crushing counterblows with his black rod. On the flip side, King Bark Mirror felt totally humiliated and held a deep grudge after nearly getting killed by Master Zhen Yan's rampage on Rock Island. He raged in his palace, swearing to take revenge and crush Master Zhen Yan like a bug once he leveled up in the future. But fear still lingered in his heart, realizing that without the assistance of Feng Venerable and his true treasure armor, he would have been turned to ash. Returning to the main action, the Mosha body immediately moved from the primal secret region to Rock Island, using the transport of his immortal slave in order to save his struggling original body. He had to dive to the bottom of the Nine Remoteness Ocean, which was filled with bloody steam and immense pressure capable of stopping even high-level fighters. The Mosha body had to constantly push his domain talent technique for days, just to break through the resistance and reach Luofeng's location. The arrogant prince finally arrived at the siege location, escorted by 2 powerful universe venerable guards to lead the hunt personally. He ordered his 9 war generals and thousands of bloody horned soldiers to tighten the net across his territory without leaving a single gap. He gave specific instructions to all his troops not to kill the intruder because he wanted the personal satisfaction of executing Luofeng with his own hands. Hiding behind the bloody steam, Luofeng felt the threat getting real, as thousands of native soldiers combed every coordinate near him. He knew he absolutely couldn't let precious treasures like the Tower Pearl and Shiwu wings fall into enemy hands. Getting them back would be a nightmare. In this suffocating situation, Luofeng could only pin his hopes on the agility of his Mosha body, which was fighting through the deadly terrain to pick him up. The 9 generals started coordinating their elite troops via the virtual world to ensure their prey had absolutely nowhere to run within the 9 Remoteness world. The Bloody Horn troops moved with high morale and loyalty, eager to show off their strength to the prince watching from afar. With the siege net now almost perfectly closed, Luofeng's fate was truly hanging by a thread as the prince began closing in on his final hiding spot. The giant siege net, spanning 200 million miles and involving over 100 million native soldiers, began to contract. Luofeng sent out an immortal slave disguised as himself to draw fire, but the decoy was instantly blown to bits by a combined attack from 800 immortals. Although the decoy died a gruesome death, the prince immediately realized it was a trick because there were no valuable treasures found in the fake intruder's storage ring. The cunning prince didn't even get mad at being fooled, convinced that the real intruder was still hiding somewhere inside the circle. He ordered all his troops to tighten the siege and kill anyone looking like Luofeng without exception to ensure no escape gaps. This ruthless strategy slowed down the siege process, as every time a decoy appeared, the immortal troops had to gather and spend hours launching annihilation attacks. The real Luofeng hid anxiously while sending out dozens of other immortal slaves as sacrifices to buy time and mess up the enemy's coordination. He knew his supply of slaves was limited, and this tactic only slowed the siege from one side, while troops from other directions kept rushing in fast. His greatest fear was confronting a universe venerable level general who could easily destroy both his main body and the Tower Pearl. Luofeng's last hope now rested on his Mosha body, which was fighting to break through the bloody steam in the sky, using its incredible domain talent. The Mosha body moved at high speed despite fighting against strong atmospheric resistance to reach the original body cornered on the ground. Mosha's unique ability to change form and disguise its aura was the key to penetrating the multi-layered defense lines guarding the native soldiers. The 9-layer siege net shrank until Luofeng could feel the pressure of the godly energy from millions of world masters combing every inch of the land. He kept tracking the Mosha body's position through their mental connection, praying the backup would arrive before the inner layer of enemy troops found his hiding spot. This life-or-death gamble had reached its peak. One small coordination error could mean losing all his true treasures forever. And the prince changed his strategy and ordered 100 million soldiers to charge forward without worrying about decoy traps. Luofeng's situation deteriorated significantly. In the middle of this nearly airtight encirclement, the Mosha body finally managed to break through the deadly bloody steam just in time to pick up the cornered Luofeng. He quickly jumped into the Mosha body's world ring mere moments before the giant siege net snapped shut tight on his hiding coordinates. The Mosha body immediately used its unique ability to transform into a native immortal soldier, complete with red skin and bloody horns, to blend right into the enemy ranks. This disguise was perfect, supported by an identical aura mimicry so that no detection system or native soldier could spot his real identity. With incredible calmness, the Mosha body now moved freely among millions of busy besiegers combing the ground for a human in silver armor. The prince exploded in rage in the virtual world when his 9 generals reported that King Blade River had mysteriously vanished from the center of the siege. Even though the native troops had destroyed dozens of suspects who were Luofeng's immortal slaves, they found 0 valuables and no trace of the real intruder. This total failure made the prince feel deeply humiliated, feeling like he'd been completely played in his own territory by a foreign fighter. Taking advantage of the chaos and the enemy's frustration, the disguised Mosha body flew away from the search area at a steady speed to avoid raising suspicion. He relied heavily on his domain talent to teleport instantly and avoid unnecessary run-ins with the universe's venerable generals still on patrol. The extreme exhaustion from pushing his powers for days finally paid off as he made it out of the main detection radius and headed toward a safer zone. Luofeng's Mosha body finally arrived at a quiet, majestic ancient city belonging to the native race of the 9 remoteness world, surrounded by vast settlements with no outer fortifications. In the center of the city stood a giant wall separating the commoners' area from the palace district, where high-ranking royals radiated terrifying power. Under this perfect cover, Luofeng prepared to explore the heart of the enemy's defense and figure out the safest way to escape the 9 remoteness masters' domain. The Mosha body quickly entered the internal world of the golden-horned behemoth to start the breeding process that would determine his future. Luofeng poured his entire soul's focus into activating the final clone talent technique to absorb all the genetic material from that world master level world tree leaf. A massive golden ball began to form in the sky of his vast internal world, serving as the vessel for the new life transformation he was attempting with mixed tension and hope. Tension peaked as Luofeng's internal world started shaking violently from the pressure of the world tree's life energy, which was pushing the limits of his world's capacity. The golden ball trembled violently, akin to a series of massive explosions within, attempting to forcefully breach Luofeng's internal space defense. Luofeng's entire consciousness was glued to the process, realizing that the world tree's life level was nearly 100 times higher than his own golden-horned beast. Luofeng's high hopes were instantly crushed when the golden ball in his world's sky started showing massive cracks and finally exploded into pieces, scattering energy uselessly. The emerald green leaf he had fought and sacrificed so much for vanished without a trace, leaving a suffocating silence in his internal world. A deep bitterness filled Luofeng's heart as the cruel reality set in. The breeding process for his 3rd clone body had officially failed completely. Luofeng felt absolutely devastated and broken by the failure to breed a 3rd body from the world tree part he had risked his life to get. He knew that the giant body was crucial for his future because it could provide an unlimited supply of divine power and help stabilize his god country. Although drowning in disappointment, Luofeng tried to compose himself and started considering backup options like the ancestral star tree or the Dawn volcano for his next body choice. Disguised as a native, Luofeng walked casually through the ancient city, observing the daily life of the bloody-horned creatures. He was shocked to see the raw power of this race. Their babies were already at the Star Traveler level, while adults automatically became world masters. This observation made him realize that the native 9 remoteness race was one of the strongest in the universe, far surpassing the potential of the golden horned race. Meanwhile, the prince was exploding with rage inside his palace, feeling humiliated by the mockery of his 108 brothers over his failure to catch the intruder. He became a laughingstock, accused of hallucinating about a foreign fighter who could move insanely fast. He felt immense pressure from the cutthroat competition among the princes and the looming threat of severe punishment if he didn't prove his claims were true soon. In desperation, the prince summoned his father, the 9 remoteness master, who appeared as a giant face made of world energy. The great ruler confirmed that the prince's instincts were right. The intruder was indeed alive and possessed absolutely perfect camouflage abilities. His father explained that Luofeng could mimic the aura and form of the native race, rendering the usual world energy detection systems completely useless in finding him. The 9 remoteness master gave a cold warning, telling his son to focus more on training to reach the universe venerable level rather than crying over this failure. His father promised to let the prince adventure in the outside world only if he proved his strength as a top-tier fighter. This motivation reignited a huge ambition in the prince's heart to rise from his slump and catch up to his brothers, who had already leveled up. Luofeng continued digging for info by chatting up a local kid, uncovering secrets about their birth origins in the Ancestral Sea and Royal Sea. He deduced that the Ancestral Sea was actually the 9 remoteness ocean above them, while the 108 Royal Seas were located deep within this underworld. This crucial discovery gave him a clearer picture of the region's geography, helping him formulate a much more solid escape plan from the heart of enemy territory. Luofeng felt absolutely gutted because his attempt to breed a third body using the World Tree leaf ended in total failure inside his internal world. Even though his main plan was crushed, he didn't throw in the towel. Instead, he stumbled upon crucial info about the native race's social structure, which is split between those born from the Ancestral Sea and the Royal Sea. The discovery of 108 princes, each linked to one of the 108 Royal Seas, triggered Luofeng's curiosity to dig deeper into the secrets behind the ruler's power in this territory. To get some clarity, Luofeng immediately met the Primal Chaos City leader in the virtual dimension to report his mission failure and his new findings in the 9 remoteness world. His teacher was initially shocked to hear that the Mosha body managed to slip through the heavy security using the rare and effective domain talent. Luofeng then asked a very sensitive question about the secret connection between the 9 remoteness master and the giant ocean that covers the entire 9 remoteness space. The Primal Chaos City leader finally revealed a top-tier universe secret. The 9 remoteness master and the 9 remoteness ocean are in fact the same entity. The ocean, with a diameter of over 10 light-years, acts as an infinite source of divine energy, giving the ruler a regeneration rate that makes him practically immortal. This secret explains why it's impossible to defeat the 9 remoteness master as long as he's within his ocean domain. He can just respawn instantly. His teacher shared a legendary story about the time the 9 remoteness master burned all the divine power in that massive ocean just to retaliate against his enemies. The insane power from burning the ocean was enough to suppress the true treasures of 2 major rulers from the demon race, who were trying to hunt him down. The horrific incident ended with the Kang Yang master dying instantly, while the master of Skywolf barely managed to escape in absolutely terrible shape. This explanation made Luofeng realize that the princes are most likely miniature versions of the 9 remoteness master's power, born directly from the essence of the Royal Sea. A new ambition ignited in Luofeng's heart to try breeding his third body from the genetic material of these princes, or the ocean's essence itself. He planned to cash in the huge favor the 9 remoteness master owed his teacher as a shortcut to snag this special genetic material that would be impossible to get through normal means. The Primal Chaos City leader explained that the 9 remoteness master has a massive divine body with a diameter reaching over 10 light-years. Although he doesn't have talent techniques due to the limitations of the universe's laws, this incredible size makes him an undying figure whose power is unmatched by anyone. Luofeng realized that the 108 princes are actually representations of the 108 royal seas, possessing different power levels ranging from World Master to Universe Venerable. Luofeng spent 6 months traveling to the center of the world to do a deep inspection of the characteristics of those 108 royal seas. He found a breakdown of 56 bloody seas with a 50 million mile diameter for World Master level princes, 49 small royal seas with a 600 million mile diameter, and 3 large royal seas reaching 63 billion miles. While the natives worship the larger oceans as their mothers, the bloody seas tend to be ignored because they can't birth new life before reaching the immortal level. After weighing the risks, Luofeng chose to take a water sample from a bloody sea because the life level of a World Master Prince was considered the best fit for breeding in his internal world. He was fully aware of the strict taboo forbidding anyone from taking water or fighting near these sacred areas because that water is literally part of the prince's divine bodies. Despite feeling anxious, Luofeng locked in his decision for the sake of his third body's future, hoping to gain the same eternal regeneration ability as the ocean ruler. Using the teleportation domain talent of his Mosha body, Luofeng managed to snatch a sample of the bloody water in less than 0.1 seconds and stashed it in his world ring. He had hoped a tiny theft from a 50 million mile ocean wouldn't be detected, but he stayed on high alert, remembering his teacher's warning about the ruler's extreme sensitivity. However, right after the heist was done, a terrifyingly massive energy pressure suddenly appeared, turning the entire scenery around him into a grim shade of red. The 9 remoteness master revealed his form as a giant face made of concentrated world energy right in front of the frozen Luofeng. The presence of this supreme ruler signaled that violating the royal sea's taboo had triggered the wrath of the most feared figure in the region. Now Luofeng had to brace himself for the consequences of his actions, praying that his teacher's protection and that owed favor could save his life from the rage of the ocean master. So what happens next? Let's wait and see in the next video, guys. Okay, Thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me, bye.
世界树的生命层次接近
所有生命物质已经解析。
体内世界孕育的